Hi everyone, this is Yeshua Said My Name. I actually had a few people mention in the comments section down below, the last couple videos I've made actually, regarding the Vatican and the papacy. They mentioned the audience hall of the Pope and how it looks like a serpent. I've seen this before many times, though I've never done a video on it before. But I thought for those of you who may be new to this, I'd bring it up in a video, so I'm glad those of you who mentioned it did. Apparently the Pope's audience hall it looks like a serpent from the inside when you walk in. If you notice here, the two eyes on either side of the windows that look like eyes on either side. I mean, here's a pupil. We have down the aisle here what looks like fangs. And at the end of the aisle here, there's a throne. And there's an image of, it's supposed to be what they say, Jesus rising from death in the background. Let me see if I can get a better picture of that for you. It just does not look normal to me whatsoever. But anyway, hopefully you can see this. It shows the Pope at the end of this audience hall. He sits on a throne right here. And this is supposed to be, they say, Jesus rising over the throne. So getting back to the picture of the serpent here. There are many pictures you can look at that show this. That'll give you this view of the audience hall for the Pope. I mean, I'm sorry, but you don't build something like this by accident. This to me is purposely done. There is no sane, born-again, spirit-filled Christian that would build a building like this and not look at it and say, gee, doesn't that look like a serpent? Of course, the Lucifer telescope, a lot of you I'm sure are familiar with that. That stands for, let's see here, Large Binocular Telescope, Near Infrared, Utility with Camera and Integral Field Unit for Extragalactic Research. And of course that all stands for Lucifer down through here, which means Lucifer. And there's this one person here who made the meme for this Lucifer telescope here that I agree with. I can't help it. I actually agree with what they're saying here. Vatican names their telescope Lucifer, says it's a perfectly normal name. You know, everybody move on. Nothing to pay attention to here. Lucifer telescope, you know, of all things. But if you want to look up what the acronym Lucifer stands for, you can look that up and type in Lucifer telescope and it'll tell you what each letter stands for. But why, if you're a born-again Christian, would you have anything to do with a telescope associated with your church, your supposed church, called Lucifer? Here we have, again, the audience hall of the Pope. So I just want to make a quick video showing these pictures. Like I said, a few people brought this up in the comment sections, which I thank you for. And welcome to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining us. But I figured I'd bring this up to you if you haven't seen it. So interesting. I mean, why would you have anything to do with something that looks like a snake or a serpent? You know, why would you have a telescope named Lucifer? So, you know, it's just so obvious. Things that are in the Vatican courtyard that have to do with the pineal gland or the third eye, which is another whole video in itself. But if you look it up in the, I think it's called the pine cone, the court of the pine cone, I believe, and it's supposed to represent the pineal gland at the Vatican, which represents the third eye. So, like I said, topic for another day. But you would have nothing to do with these occult things like pineal glands and you know, a hall that looks like a serpent. I'm sorry, but if I walked into any church building that I was a part of having the architecture done or whatever, and it turned out looking like this, I'd say, I'm sorry, we can't have that. So, you know, or a telescope named Lucifer with the acronym that says Lucifer. There's, you know, guys, it's hidden in plain sight, and hopefully the Lord is giving people eyes to see what is going on here. God bless, and thanks for listening.